since we have such a new author on the page, and it's so fresh, your experience of getting into the wiki, what is some like general advice you'd have for people who want to write for the SCP wiki, but they're so just intimidated by, how large it is, how much they have to kind of observe and figure out?
It's interesting. I could to an extent compare it to like the music community or like the business community or whatever, where it's like connections are important, and I'm not trying to say connections in terms of like there's some secret government entity running the wiki that decides whether or not your articles get to stay on the site. But what I am saying is that there are people who have done this before you and have been there for a very long time, and they are going to be able to give you a lot of shortcuts to improving your writing to a point where you feel more happy with it and where it fits more with what people want to be on the site. So, the site has its own like idea critique and greenlight process and draft forum process, and that's really great that they do that. And it takes a lot of work to do that. I don't want to diminish their completely voluntary work at all. But I would recommend you find like an SCP writing related Discord server. The one I recommend is the SCP Declassified Discord server, which you can find through a variety of ways, and it'll probably be a way to get to it will probably be linked in the description.
I'll go
there. Go to the writing channel. Ask about an idea, write a draft based on your idea, and then show that draft to people and say, okay, what works, what doesn't, what do I need to be doing differently? And you'll have to rewrite it a few times. You might even have to abandon your first idea and write something else that comes to you. That's totally what happened to me. I came into that Discord server and I was like, I've been learning all of this stuff about AI and how AI works, and there's all these different types of neural networks and adversarial networks that you can have, and I want to write a story about SCP-079 like gaining super intelligence and then erasing its own memory so that it has enough space to become this crazy anti-memetic AI that does all this crazy stuff, and there's going to be a whole series about it, and everyone's like, whoa, you have a 700-word description and all of it is too technical for anyone to understand. You need to rewrite this. It's not going to work. So yeah, and some people might be on the other side of the spectrum where they're like, I've got this really cool idea, but I don't know what to do with it, or I don't know how to write about it. And the SCP format is not, conducive to new authors. It's not conducive to people. It's a writing challenge. Yeah. So, if you have trouble writing like lab reports or writing in clinical tone, and you have trouble like just writing a couple paragraphs of prose or poetry or something like on your own, that's something to practice beforehand, and then you can sort of get into the SCP format itself. And if you didn't do like a lot of lab reports and use a lot of technical language and things in high school or whatever, I'd recommend you go like try and look at some formal papers and try to parse some of the language that's in there, and you've got to find a happy medium somewhere between the story you want to tell and presenting it in a way that is that makes sense with everything else on the site.
I've personally liked looking up old declassified like CIA and FBI case files and stuff like that. They're usually like 50s or 60s because obviously you can't really get more modern ones, unless you got a connect. But do you have a history with writing before doing SCP stuff? Or was this your first big endeavor?
I did not have a history with fiction writing. So in high school, I did this program called the International Baccalaureate, or IB, and it's this pretty heavy program that's meant to augment the typical high school experience with all of these extra subjects and group projects and things that make you a more well-rounded, conscientious student. And I hated it, and I can't say I would do it again. But one of the good things that I did get out of it is a lot of experience writing lab reports in clinical tone, and a lot of experience writing essays, and a pretty neat philosophy and epistemology course that actually allows me to think on a level that I don't think I would be able to if I hadn't taken that course. But all of that to say, I have a lot of experience writing clinically and explaining things that I find interesting and that I'm passionate about, but I do not have any history of writing fiction prior to my first post on the SCP Wiki.
Cool. I like that. It should make people feel less intimidated then. You don't need to be like a seasoned author to write on the wiki. Today,
and you don't even need to start with like an SCP either.
Yeah.
If you're having trouble with that, you feel like, oh, like this is just gonna flow better if I write something else. Like you don't have to like make a mark or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So speaking of your SCPs, I thought we should start with, I'm pretty sure it's your most famous article to date, SCP Integer. So I had to reread this like twice, full disclosure. So I was like, whoa, okay. Because like once you finish the article, I feel like you have a better sense of like what's going on. And then when you read it again, it like, you're like, okay, I see this through like a different
There is
lens.
a declassification on it. Did you happen to check that out?
I did. I literally read it this morning again, and I forgot. So what was the declassification on it? Oh wait. So was that the story, or was that the addendums at the end? I'm trying to just.
No, someone wrote like an SCP declassified, like trying to explain what happens.
No, I understand what you're saying. No, I haven't. No, I haven't actually.
Sorry to cut off your question, but yeah,
I thought you meant like the classification status or something. That's why.
No. But yeah, I can get on with talking about it. So yeah, SCP Integer is the first thing I ever posted to the wiki, and it's I think it is my most upvoted, which is cool.